This is a download from the BBC. To find out more, go to bbc.co.uk/6music.
Sonic Youth on 6 Music and the track Cool Thing, and we are, as promised, joined by Thom Yorke, who wanted to hear that track. Actually, it's one of the tunes he's brought in to play this afternoon, and we'll talk about that in a second. But how are you, for starters?
I'm alright, actually. Thank you very much.
Is life very schizophrenic at the moment with your...
It's not too bad. I'm working, which makes me happy, to be honest. I don't like doing nothing. It drives me crazy.
Really? Are you one of those people who can't sit around?
I can, but I have to, it demands more effort than not.
Really?
If you know what I mean.
Well, what's the rest of Radiohead like? I had this impression in my head because
they're much better.
It's about time you all got some hobbies, isn't it?
I don't think anybody actually people have hobbies.
You see, I always thought
Phil bought a boat once, but I don't think that worked out too well because now he has three boys, and that's a full-time job.
Yeah, of course. But you see, I imagined Ed would get into something like Formula 1. For me, yeah. I think he's got Top Gear written all over him.
No.
No?
I actually don't know what he does. I don't ask him.
Right.
No, we don't get that far.
You're probably too busy with talking music.
Well, we use people to talk between us. I mean, we don't talk to each other directly anymore. We're far too huge for that.
Separate cars to gigs and all that sort of thing. Yeah, we'll have different hotels.
Yes.
You can come round and pick us up.
Don't joke about it.
Have you seen the boys recently?
Oh
and
yes,
the rest of the band, yeah.
I saw them. Was it last night or the night before? Because we're sort of doing all our plans for the recording at the end of the year. So he's taking his noisy jacket off.
Right. So how far have you come since showcasing some of the tracks? Because sporadically you've done some Radiohead gigs this year.
Well, we did like 4 weeks in the US after the shows round here, and it was really, really good fun. We actually did a big festival called Bonnaroo as well, which was a real buzz. Biggest buzz I've had for years, actually, to be honest. There's like 80,000 people. Why?
Was it the size or the fact that you were playing fresh material? Or?
Yeah, it was the fact that we were playing fresh material. They seemed to know most of it, which was mad. They seemed to know most of it off YouTube, because people are taking their mobiles with the 2 gig, hard drives and then mailing them straight onto YouTube, which is just insane.
Is that a double-edged sword? Because on the one hand,
but the quality is so whack.
Is it?
You're not really losing a great deal.
No.
I don't think. I mean, it's. I mean, I quite like that, to be honest. The fact that it's so bitty and literally crushed.
But the fact that a new song is only a new song the first time you ever play it.
Yeah, it depends on how you look at it, because you can look at it like each time you play it's a different version of it, so it doesn't really matter how many times, which is much more the Grateful Dead zone, unfortunately. But luckily we can't play solos. Although I do keep asking Johnny to play a guitar solo, but he refuses. I don't know why that is.
Has he just got one of those sort of mental blocks? No, I can't do that. I'm not a guitar hero in that form.
I don't know.
Maybe he's just stubborn.
Could be that.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
So you've been working on some Radiohead stuff, and you're going to record end of the year?
For the whole rest of the year after we've finished these festivals.
Oh yeah. Have you decided where?
We have, but I can't tell you because it's all mad. All these very strange places.
Oh, I was just going to say, is it in a recording studio or is it?
Hell no.
No. No. So are you going to do the thing where you take around your own kit and set up in places?
Yeah, we've even got caravans.
Really?
Yeah, don't ask. It's bad.
Okay. I shan't go any further with that. But also, of course, how are the little ones as well?
They're all great, thank you. Yes, that's all fine.
How old's Noah?
He is 5 now. And I have a daughter now.
I mean, the reason I mention it is because I think one of the last times we spoke, and when the last Radiohead album came out, becoming a dad, I think it influenced some of the lyrics last time round, and your album, The Eraser, is dedicated to Agnes, isn't it?
Yeah, but then I think that's company policy now. I mean, not that this is within the company, but if there are any arrivals, they tend to get first.
Has becoming a dad for a second time, or obviously watching now the 2 youngsters grow up, did that affect lyrically your new album at all? Because it bled into the first one. Analyse.
It always, it's part of a big part of my life. Obviously, I feel kind of uncomfortable talking about it just because it's on the one hand, it seems to be the one thing one shouldn't discuss, A, being a man, which I have a problem with anyway, because that's just downright sexist, and B, that it's the most unrock and roll thing, so you should just pretend that you're not a dad, which is what most people seem to do, which I also think's deeply unhealthy. So I guess I will talk about it because of that, but it does make me feel uncomfortable. Whether it was formed part of this record, obviously, yeah, I think it did, not least of which because of the context of sort of getting involved in Friends of the Earth, like a lot of people becoming aware of the global warming thing. Obviously, you're suddenly presented with the concept of a finite future, much as actually we were when we grew up, because we were presented with the concept of the bomb, you know, and grew up with this bizarre scenario. You remember that? What was the name of that movie? Was it?
I can't remember. It was shown at all the schools.
Yeah,
I remember it.
Traumatised us all. When
absolutely. It was basically the nuclear bomb has dropped, and this is literally the fallout from it.
Yeah.
It terrified. Everyone had nightmares after watching.
Rather than actually being a threat, this is a reality, and it's just a debate about when it occurs and how it happens. So I don't think it would be too personal to say I didn't sleep very much for a few months until I sort of worked out a way of dealing with it, and one of the ways of dealing with it was to put it into this record.
And so what are you going to be like as the kids grow up? And you've got the cool record collection. Are you going to be an embarrassing dad?
I am I'm already the embarrassing.
Well, it's one of the things you are going to have is a huge record collection, which obviously they'll be able to get their fingers on. This is one of the things I want to talk to you about this afternoon. We just played Cool Thing by Sonic Youth. You've got another couple of selections coming up in a second, but Cool Thing, when did you first hear it? Were Sonic Youth very important to you?
It's funny because I played it on the way in the car to Chris, our manager, and I was sort of thinking, I think the first time I heard that was when I bought the album, was it Goo it's on, isn't it?
I think it's Goo,
yeah. In 1991?
Yeah.
Was it 1990? 91, something like that.
Actually, it's before Nirvana, isn't it?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because basically, I mean, Goo to me was the I used to play it at the club I used to DJ at, and this was the one I used to play every time. Sort of about 1:45, just to clear everybody gradually off the dance floor, and I just used to. What was it that? Are you gonna liberate us chicks from male white corporate oppression?
Yeah.
And that was just, Kim Deal. That's just the best. I mean, to dare to put that in a song, and then when you're a star, you're gonna fix everything, and Sonic Oblivion going on in the background. It was just, it's genius. It's just, I mean, I'm having a real Sonic Youth thing at the moment. I've just got absolutely everything. Although I draw the line at the rehearsal tapes, I have to say.
Right.
You're sort of going back to it with a bit of distance. It's basically without Sonic Youth, Nirvana would have never occurred, and we certainly would have never have occurred. I mean, them and the Pixies. That was it. I mean,
you could almost go back a step further and go, if Husker Du hadn't actually come out and signed for a major label, then it wouldn't have been cool for Sonic Youth to sign to a major label, and then Sonic Youth wouldn't have recommended Nirvana to Geffen, and from there on you go. Yeah. It's funny you mentioned your DJing though. I was going to ask you about that. When you started DJing, what was your floor filler? Can you remember? What was your floor? Or did you just have floor emptiers?
No, you see, there's this thing. You have to remember it's a student disco, so it is not exactly what you'd call the coolest slot ever.
You can confess.
No, it was bad. It was the Pogues. Although, no,
it's not that bad.
It's okay, but it's like when they come up after the fourth time in the same night. It was this bizarre scenario, because another thing today is that I picked up Cubic 22, which is one of the first XL tracks that Richard Russell put out, this hardcore rave tune, and all these eat up kids used to turn up as well. So you got these kids coming out asking for the Pogues. Usually they were teaching physical education, and then you had the raving kids up from town, eat up off the tits, saying, "Play it again, man! Play it again, man!" and sitting on the back speakers. And you're like, how on earth am I supposed to deal with all this, you know? So there wasn't really a floor filler, because they all had their, like, particular clans, you know. And then I put Sonic Youth on.
Would this be at the uni, Exeter Uni? Yeah. So were you in that, did they have that little booth?
Yeah, that's right.
That they have now?
Yeah.
Because it's claustrophobic in
I know,
there
and
anyway.
they still
it's like
haven't
standing in a
tidied it up.
sentry box.
What?
It's like standing in a sentry box.
I know. Well, it was, yeah. I used to throw beer at people if they got really bad.
We'll play another of your selections now. Talk us through this one. It's The Bug versus Roots Man. The track is Killer Queen. Where did you find this?
I found this on the Breeze Block.
Oh, right, Marianne Hobbs' show on BBC Radio 1.
And I didn't know anything about any of it. And I don't know anything about this sort of music at all. My ignorance is almost complete. But this just is a fantastic record from start to finish to me. It's one of those ones you just play to annoy people, you know.
Would you, if somebody said, do you fancy coming and doing a spot of DJing, would you go back and do it now?
No, because I don't. I think part of the requirement of DJing is to have the sort of vinyl consumer head on, which I just don't have. I'm
not even if Fabric came along.
If everyone was sending me the vinyl and I could sit there and I could go through it every night, I would happily do it. But I feel like I'm out of my depth because, you know, people will say, "Have you heard?" And I, you know, I'm just honest. I was like, sorry, I'm completely out of touch. I just am. I hate the fact that I am, but I just don't have time to keep up, and it really winds me up.
And at the same time, so do you get a chance to listen to a lot of music though? And because the weird thing is, there's so many places to get music from now, isn't
there? There is, but you know, the sort of thing that I like is it's actually kind of hard. There's a really good online shop, Boomcat, which I really enjoy going to, and that's run by mates of ours.
Boomcat,
they're in Manchester,
right?
But it's really, you know, because it's the nature of thing. It's the sort of thing where you want to go and spend the afternoon in the shop and go through it all, and it's difficult to do online, you know. So I sort of, for me, it's really, really frustrating. I'm not about to lower myself to pay someone to go out and get me this stuff.
No. Well, you can't, but where's the fun in that anyway?
Well, yeah, the whole point is you've got to go there and happen upon stuff that you know. The whole point is you've got to go in the record shop, feel out of your depth, feel about the size of an ant, and like have to fight all that off.
Absolutely.
And walk out going,
if your ego is still higher than the counter, then it hasn't worked.
You're in the wrong place. You need to go to HMV.
You got to feel it. You got to touch.
Absolutely.
As well. It's all about the touch.
Yeah.
Going back when you, what were the sort of influences? I suppose, are there any influences that you've held on to? Are there any lyricists or writers within rock music that you've always admired and you still admire now? Or has it changed and evolved?
It's always. I guess it's always changed. So, you hold the torch to all these people, like R.E.M. and the way Michael Stipe writes his words will always floor me. God, you just off the top of my head, it's really hard. Tom Waits, Public Enemy, Polly, Harvey.
I like the way you say off the top of my head, and then start holding your head. Listen,
I'm trying to rattle it out.
The head's in the hands.
It's good.
But out of those people, so when R.E.M. come along, what had you been listening to previously? Was R.E.M. like some sort of Road to Damascus experience? Wow. Yes,
absolutely. Up until then, everybody else I knew at the time was listening to dodgy heavy metal, or like AC/DC and stuff.
Well, how old were you? 13?
Yeah, very young.
Yeah, everyone has a metal phase at 13.
Yeah. What was the name of the MSG? Michael Schenker Group.
Michael Schenker.
They weren't very good, though, were they? I consider AC/DC. It's like, yeah, fair enough. Queen, absolutely fine.
Well, it's when you cross into German metal.
Yeah, that's what that was the cut-off point for me. Someone gave me that. It's like, this is way better than any of that, and I knew that the game was up.
The Michael Schenker Group came with all those that came with the patches on the denims.
Did they?
Yeah, that's they gave away a free patch of one of their singles.
Did they?
Yeah, man. I'm afraid so. So
like the Cubs.
I've done my heavy metal badge. I've been to see Girls' School live. Give me my badge.
I am now. I have tinnitus for life.
What was your first gig?
Oh no, I'm not talking about that. It was like Joan Armour Trading when she did that. We didn't get many gigs come round Oxford at the time.
No.
My best gig in Oxford ever though was Susie and the Banshees, and I got to meet Susie and tell her that when in London recently.
Really?
Yeah, it was fantastic. She'd just broken her leg, and stuff. And
She'd just broken her leg, before the
she was
gig?
doing, I don't know, but she turned up and she was on crutches. And they were just amazing.
What was it? The severity of the sound? Like,
no, it was just the band were like they were really really exciting, and they did loads of I guess it must have Hong Kong Garden and all that sort of period. It wasn't that long after that, actually, I don't think. And to the contrast, like the worst gig I ever saw. This doesn't mean I don't like the band, because I absolutely love the band. But New Order, that's hilarious. They played for 40 minutes and they said, "This is why we don't play in this effing town. You're such a boring bunch of CU whatevers."
Yeah.
So that wasn't great. And my marked contrast, Susie and the Banshees were just genius.
And when you get to meet Susie Sue, are you scared?
No, she just looked like really nice lady. So I shouldn't use the word lady. I get told off. Woman. She looked really friendly. So oh wow, very pleasant lady, person.
So what other things? Now you've obviously there's another Radiohead record. There's your own album, which is a corker, and which we'll mention very quickly in a second.
How do you write it?
Because but any other things you're tempted to do?
Whoa.
Write a book?
No. Can't string a sentence together.
Okay.
Which is why I write songs.
Stand for the local council?
Now, there's an idea. No.
Okay. I'm running out.
Yeah, no. Well, what else is there?
Open a restaurant.
Gave up painting.
Gave up painting, no.
Learned to dance. No, forget that.
What about I see you making films?
Am I?
No, I don't actually see you doing it, but I can see you doing it.
What do you mean, acting?
Not so much acting.
No, I can't remember lines.
I think you and a bunch of animators and a brilliant film.
Actually, I was going to say the one thing that's always frustrated me is I've never really learned to use all that technology. But then I have friends who've gone, who've done the computer graphic video course things that you do now to learn whatever Maya, whatever the software is that they use, and I know I'll never do it, but if I was going to college now, that's where I'd go, because I would say that's got to be the wildest place to be creatively right now. But that's from my point of view. I would very much like time with Stanley just to hang out. We've always had this project about buying an old pickup and driving around the countryside and being Sunday painting, getting a bottle of wine. In fact, we have done it a couple of times. There was a particularly good incident on Dartmoor where we only had purple and black, and we went out.
This is beginning to sound like something from the Far Show.
Well, that's exactly what it was. That was the idea.
Black.
No, it was
black.
And we had the bottle. We did. That was basically the idea. It was the Sunday Painters, but we were doing it for real. And the brilliant thing is, this woman came up and asked directions. And she left real quick.
Very quickly, one last question. Everyone who's been nominated for the Mercury Music Prize is backing the Arctic Monkeys to win.
Are they?
Yeah. I thought you had.
I'm not.
Aren't you? Who are you backing?
Me.
Okay, that's good. Have you heard the rest of the competition then? Who's the threat?
No, I haven't heard. I heard the what's on there?
Oh, the editors. Who else is in there?
Like
Richard Hawley's in there.
Don't know that.
Oh, it's a great record.
Okay.
That's quite good. Guillemots. Do you know them?
No.
Okay. I wouldn't worry about the opposition if you're...
I don't think it's about that, though, is it, really? It seems to be whatever represents whatever it is at the time. So, I mean, I kind of think that's not the point, which is a good thing.
Well, we'll just put our money on you. How about that?
Yeah, please.
Okay, it's a deal.
Yeah.
We have to push on because we're running out of time.
Okay.
For more on the Eraser album, listen to Tom Robinson's programme on Thursday night, when Mr. Tom York will also be playing live here on Six Music. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks, Steve.
And, we're going to play a track by the Liars to finish with, another of Tom's choices. This is The Other Side of Mountain Heart? Mount Heart Attack.
Mount Heart Attack.
Mount Heart Attack.
From Drums Not Dead record.
Thanks for downloading this trial from the BBC. Find out more at bbc.co.uk/6music.
BBC
6 Music.